Good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. We are so happy to see you joining us again for the Witch Hunt Learning Series. Thank you for taking this time to be here and continue your learning journey with us. Let's wait for a bit so that all the other participants can join us. Hi, Varsha.
Hi, Dipti. Good to see you again, and welcome to all the participants. A good number is slowly growing up, but yes,
Yes.
we will wait for some more participants to join in. And then we understand that Saturday is probably a working day. Quite a few of you have colleges. So, yeah, so we align this session accordingly. But yes, we will give some more time, maybe a couple of minutes more, Dipti.
Yes, couple of minutes.
Sure.
So while we're waiting, as I see we have 35 participants already here, let me take a quick check on what we have done on Springboard so far. So last a few sessions we spoke about Springboard app, and I'm very happy to let you all know that there are quite a number of people who have joined Springboard so far, and there are only 2,000 more to join. We have 3,000 plus users who have signed into Springboard. Varsha, that's a quite a good
Quite a
number
good,
of
quite
participants.
encouraging number. But yes, I would love to see 100% representation on Springboard because that would give you access to significant amount of learning material, and not only in the context of this hackathon, but you can leverage it, for many other things, many other dimensions of learning associated with tech, AI, behavioral skills, project management skills, and so on. So I think you should take complete advantage of it, spread the word in your, friend circle who are also have registered for this hackathon to take maximum advantage of it. Is there anyone in the audience right now who's yet to register for Springboard? Maybe you can quickly say yes or no on chat box. Maybe no people who are yet to join. Okay, I'm not seeing any responses on chat, which shows all the participants
All the
joined in so far,
participants
yeah, have
have
registered.
registered.
Very, very
Wonderful.
encouraging. Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's already 5 minutes in, Dipti. Let's get started. More participants will trickle in as we go.
Sure, Varsha. So again, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Witch Hunt AI Hackathon Learning Series. We are excited to bring our next learning session, which focuses on a topic that is transforming how the world learns, AI in EdTech. Today's session, we will help us understand how artificial intelligence is reshaping education from classrooms to global learning platforms, and how you as inventors can build solutions in this space. It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today, Ramya Srinivasan. Ramya brings over 20 plus years of experience across edtech, higher education, government, entrepreneurship, and IT, and has impacted lakhs of students and teachers through digital transformation. She currently serves as APAC Regional Director, Customer Success at Coursera, where she collaborates with universities to drive large scale digital education initiatives. She currently serves as APAC Regional Director. Earlier, she built and scaled the MOOCS program at IIM Bangalore, reaching over 1 million learners globally and significantly expanding access to quality education. Her experience also includes strengthening startups ecosystems within the impact investment and space of working with global organizations such as Intel. What truly sets her apart is her passion for designing human centered, technology enabled education system where learners can genuinely thrive. Please join us in welcoming Ramya Srinivasan, certified customer service success leader and a strong advocate for skilling and digital learning.
Thank you, Deepti, Varsha, and to the entire HopeWorks Foundation for giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you who have registered your interest in solving four problems that India faces using artificial intelligence. Like Deepti mentioned, and I'm really very interested in seeing how we can marry both the human aspect with technology to solve some of the problems that are facing Indian students, Indian faculty, and Indian educational institutions. And today, in over the next few minutes, I will try and open your minds to what are the possibilities and which problems are really worth solving. I think most of you are in the stage where you either have an idea of what problem you want to solve for in this hackathon, or you are still searching. And I hope this session helps you choose the right problem to solve, especially when it comes to AI in education. I think it's a buzzword, right? Artificial intelligence in education can do lots of things. Many of us view it as it can solve every problem that India is facing in this space. And it might feel that way, especially when you look at some examples of how AI is being used today to help learners, whether they are really young, 3 or 4 year olds, or they are working professionals, 40, 50 year olds like me. AI is helping every one of them learn better and acquire skills better. And just to give you an idea of how powerful this tool can be, here is an example that I'm going to share on the screen, and I hope you can all see it. Okay, this is a tool. It's not a very new tool, but it uses neural networks and machine learning to recognize images and to interpret them. It's called Google Quick Draw. And let's see how it works, right? So if I select this option, which says, let's draw, okay? And it tells me I have to draw a saxophone, which is like a wind instrument in under 20 seconds. And this system will guess what I'm drawing. Okay, so let's see if I'm good at drawing and the system is good at recognizing. So it's saying I see a trumpet, I see a clarinet. So it's guessing something, but it couldn't guess. Okay, so this one is time out. But let's see the next one. It says draw a suitcase, and hopefully I will get this one better. See? Right, so this is the power of what machine learning and artificial intelligence can do. And over the past 2 3 years, this has gotten even better, especially for those of you who have been exposed to Gen AI tools like ChatGPT, where we found that it can really be a great partner for you in any activity that you do. Over the past few years, because of my professional background, I have been working a lot with educational institutions, with teachers, and with students. And I have a good idea of what are the problems they're facing. And I'm seeing that many of these problems can be resolved by adopting AI based solutions into the teaching and learning process. And that's exactly what I hope that many of you choose to solve for as part of this amazing Witch Hunt Hackathon. So that brings me to the topic of today's session, which is AI in education, where I'm going to briefly address what it means, what it takes, and why should we build AI tools for India's education sector, right? This is the transformation that has happened over the past two or three decades, which is where our use of internet has not been just for Googling information. So we're not just searching for information these days. With the advent of AI, we've started searching for ideas, which is a big leap that we've made thanks to this technology. So while the internet has always given us access to information and we used to search for something which was already there, now AI is giving us what we call a thinking partner, where it also processes the same information that internet has, that we have access to, and just like we as human beings convert that information into ideas, that's what AI gives us the power to do. It interacts, it adapts, and it personalizes every response that it shares with us. And therefore, you'll find many teachers, many students looking at moving from Googling information to chat GPT ideas, moving from the internet era where we just search for information to the AI era where we are interacting with ideas, right? So while earlier an online tool will allow you to draw and then some teacher would evaluate it. Today, as you saw in this tool, Quick Draw, I can draw and the machine itself is able to assess and evaluate it based on its image recognition capabilities. So that's why this shift is what forms the foundation for what you are about to build and what you are about to solve for. And therefore, the question you should be asking yourself as we step through this session is, are you ready to build the next big AI edtech startup? Now, which areas is AI touching as it transforms education? There are many areas, right? But you can broadly categorize use of AI-based tools, technologies, systems into four broad categories. The first one and the most important one, of course, is personalized learning. And the reason I say this is most important is because of India, because of our realities, where at any point of time, the number of learners is far, far greater than the number of teachers and the number of institutions available. Class sizes are 60, 100. Many of you are right now possibly sitting in a classroom along with your friends, and we all know what the reality of that is like. There is one teacher, there are 50 students, and it's quite likely that the teacher is only able to address queries of the first 10 students. So what happens to the remaining? The one of the tools that is often used is called for personalized tutoring is Khanmigo. I don't know if any of you have heard of it or have you, if you've used it, then please put on chat if you have used Khanmigo. But it's a really good tool because it guides students step by step and it asks questions rather than delivering answers. Of course, Khanmigo is also used by teachers. Teachers use it to create their own lesson plans. Teachers use it to create content to show to students, etc. And here is an example of how Khanmigo really it really transformed teaching and learning. And let me share the screen and show it.
Khanmigo is Khan Academy's AI-powered companion for teachers and students, built to make learning more engaging, personal, and effective. In India, Khanmigo is available for all teachers across the country and is already being used by many as part of their daily teaching. Student pilots are currently running in Maharashtra and Karnataka, with plans to expand to more students in the coming months. When teachers feel supported, classrooms transform. Khanmigo helps teachers plan lessons faster, find examples, and discover new classroom ideas.
Thanmigo, I have used real context generator when it helps me to plan my lesson beforehand.
खानमिंगो का जो टूल आया इससे हमारा काम और भी बहुत आसान हो गया। हम लोग विज्ञप्ति इससे बना लेते हैं, प्रश्न उत्तर मिल जाते हैं, क्वेश्चन पेपर मिल जाता है। 10 नंबर का पेपर लेना है तो 10 नंबर का, हम लोग कुछ भी हमें ज्यादा कुछ करना नहीं पड़ता, सब कुछ हमारे लिए बहुत आसान हो गया है।
With Khanmigo, teachers can focus more on what really matters, helping students learn better. For students, Khanmigo is like a friendly guide, one that helps them think, explore, and learn in their own way. It doesn't give answers, it helps them find them.
वो खानवी फीचर हमें डायरेक्ट आंसर ना बता के वो धीरे धीरे प्रोसेस के साथ हमको बताता है कि क्वेश्चन को कैसे सॉल्व करना। तो ये वाला फीचर मुझे खानवी बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
फॉर मी खानवी इज लाइक अ पर्सनल ट्यूटर इन अ क्लासरूम कि मैं ये क्वेश्चन में कैसे पूछूंगी। दे माइट थिंक दैट द क्वेश्चन इज वेरी स्टूपिड, सो विद द हेल्प ऑफ खानवी I was able to express myself freely.
Khanmigo helps teachers teach better and students learn with confidence, creating a future where every classroom shines.
So this is a great example of using AI for what we call personalized learning. What are the other categories that might be there? Let's take a look at them. Some of the other categories where you can look at how AI is transforming education could be about accessibility, right? It could be about, let's take, for example, English as a medium of instruction, right? What if many of us would rather, we know English, but we would rather understand, we would rather read, we would rather listen in our native language? How can we do it at scale? You can't sit and have every single content piece translated into 20 different languages at scale, right? So for the scale of regional languages, wanting to learn in native mother tongue, etc., and to improve that kind of accessibility, AI can play a big role. One of the examples that I have often cited is Google Read Along. We all know that early numeracy and literacy skills are still catching up in India, right? And that's a big, big problem area. What if you can help that literacy skills by helping children read in Indian languages and bridge that language gap? So through the process of reading, you actually learn the language. And this is how Read Along works. It's called readalong.google.com. And let's say I'm now saying that I know Hindi, but I want to learn how to read in English. And I pick up this book, which is called Katiti's Song. Right? So Katiti lived in a village next to a forest. So you see, what this does is it's actually helping me read in a particular language that I am familiar with, which is Hindi, and then it corrects me where I'm wrong. So if you notice village and next, I had not pronounced it correctly. So it underlined it, but at the same time, it also encouraged me that, yeah, you've actually read it pretty well. So accessibility is another area where you can look at how AI can transform education. Teacher support. In that Khan Migo video, you heard some teachers saying that they use Khan Migo to create quizzes so that they can keep the students engaged in the classroom. There are other such examples like Magic School AI and TeachFX, which help teachers create content and do some kind of lesson planning, right? If you ask all your teachers, or if there are teachers today in this room, we will all know that paper setting is one of the most painful activities that a teacher can do, because after some time you run out of questions. But what if you had something like a free AI question generator? Right? This, what you can do is the teacher can upload all of their material that they have and say that I want 10 questions, I want low, that means easy difficulty level, and I want it to be automatically graded, where it will automatically take the correct answer and it will grade the questions. So you can say, you can take high school chemistry, you can take environmental sciences, you can take nutrition sciences, any kind of thing you want, the teacher can create a question. This particular tool, which is called notegpt.io, also has a lot of specific math tools. It allows teachers to create flashcards to teach and so on. So basically a teacher's toolkit is completely available here. Now, for those of us who have tried using it, it is 60 to 70% correct. The remaining 30% review has to be done by the teacher, but it does save hours of efforts for the teacher. And this is a very powerful way in which teachers can use uh, AI tools to automate content generation and lesson planning. So the third area where you can look at AI transforming education is teacher support. And then, of course, very creative content creation. Suppose you want to create videos, you want to create PPTs, all of these tools can help you. This particular deck that you're seeing today, while the notes and the thought process was all mine, I had just typed it out in a Google document. I wasn't able to prepare a PPT. So I spent a lot of time typing out what I wanted to share with you. But the creation of this presentation, I was able to do in very frankly just 10 minutes using a tool called Gamma. Right? So content creation. And then if you have seen the most recent Google Vids, it can create videos which are really, really high quality, and they can and you can use it for creating content, especially from a teacher's point of view. So these are four areas that where I felt that AI, it's not replacing education, but it is helping you redesign it and to transform it. So if you're looking at how AI can help, these are some areas for you to consider. But if you notice, when I said it allows you to create videos in minutes, I'm sure many of you, half of you in this room are probably thinking, but that means you can also have fake videos. Or if you have a coach that gives students step-by-step guidelines, then that means you can have cheating, right? So when you look at all that is possible using AI, there are always risks and pitfalls, which is the other side of AI. I was very clear that when I have this session with all of you, I want to bring this up because, in my opinion, any risk has to be addressed within the system while you are designing it. It's pointless creating a tool and then telling the user later on that, hey, by the way, this is another misuse that is possible and you have to be careful about it. No, as product builders, as solution builders, each of you must be aware of what are the risks of any particular product feature or any particular tooling that you are building, and build that ability to counter that risk within the product itself. And therefore, it's very important for you to understand what is the other side of AI. The first one is what I call answer addiction, because if you use it carelessly, then it can slow down your learning by making you very dependent, right? So instant answers with no real understanding. So I will just copy paste and put it because I have asked AI to give me a solution. I had to write an essay. I asked AI to give me a 100-word essay and I copy pasted it. The second one is loss of critical thinking. AI, if you notice, especially those Gen AI tools like ChatGPT, can sound extremely confident because that's how they are trained. But they can hallucinate, of course. And therefore, if we stop asking questions and if we trust them blindly, then it can lead to loss of critical thinking. Over reliance. Many of you in this room are possibly coders and programmers. So, and you have possibly used Copilot, but if you can't code without Copilot, then that's a problem. How will you know if the code that is generated is buggy or if it is clean? Therefore, that over reliance on saying, I will let AI code everything is not right. You should definitely have the skills to use Copilot, but you should also have the skills to understand how to review the code generated by Copilot and give it the right set of instructions to generate the right code. I believe many of you would have attended the previous master classes where you were taught more about prompt engineering. That skill is very important as well, so that you're not over relying on Copilot, but you're instructing it on what to do. All of this does lead to sometimes what we call shallow learning, where there is so much fast answers that are coming in that there is surface level understanding and there is no depth because everything is seen as a shortcut. And in fact, all of this has been proven both by experiments as well as by neuroscience. There was a recent study which was done on a topic called cognitive debt, which means we have borrowed this understanding from the tool. We don't have the understanding ourselves. Now, this was a study that was done on the cognitive cost of using AI assistants like, say, a chat GPT, right? So they did the same set of tasks and tasks with three groups of students, right? One of them was where they didn't use any tool, they only used the human brain to read something and then perform a task after it. The second group, they did both. They did a mix. They did some amount of Google search engine tool access, and then they did things by themselves. That means there was a search engine plus the human. The third one relied on an LLM like ChatGPT, and then they did the task. Now, what they found was these numbers that you see below, right? And please pay attention because this cognitive debt is something you have to be very careful of in your solution that you build. The first one, because they were reading an essay and then they were answering the comprehension after it, they were able to recall the essay up to 88.9%, and they were able to understand and own what they had created as their output up to 88.9%. That means I wrote what I understood from my reading. The second one, while they used search, right? They used search engine to understand a particular essay and then write their own output. The second one, while they were able to remember quite a bit, they did borrow 67% of ideas that they had put on paper as their final submission. So only 33% of the content that they put out was their own understanding. The remaining 67 was copy pasted. This is something we are aware of. The shocking one is the last one. There's those who use Chat GPT were neither able to remember it well, only 16.7% recall, nor were they able to write and produce an output well. And therefore, there is a significant cognitive cost, cognitive debt of using ChatGPT. And this is my call out to all of you. The builder's responsibility, if you're building any tools in education, for teaching, and for learning, make sure that you are building it in such a way that AI is a coach, not a crutch. You have to build tools that ask questions and explain concepts and not tools that just hand over the answers. I hope this one principle, if you take anything away from what I'm sharing today, this is something you should all be aware of. And I'm pretty sure that when your final submissions are evaluated, this is also a factor that will be taken into consideration. So now that we are broadly aware of what is AI in education, what do you need to be aware of? You are all now looking at what problem, what is the Indian reality, what is a problem that's worth solving, right? So you should apply a problem lens framework and try to answer who's the user of your product, what is their struggle, where can AI help, right? Like I mentioned, it could be about English barrier, and therefore you want to create something like a Sarvam, which looks at creating an LLM that can speak Indian languages. Now, I came across this really fascinating video where there was a demo of Sarvam's capabilities, where the same video, the same prof, he's originally explaining everything in English, but the tool automatically translates it into a native language. So let's assume I am addressing people in Guwahati, but I don't know Assamese. But I record my video and use the tool, and it appears that I'm speaking in Assamese. This is not subtitles, but this is audio dubbing. I hope you can all hear this, but this one was a pretty cool example, I thought. English to Hindi.
Ramya, audio is not very clear of this video.
Oh, okay. Okay, what I will do is let me share this link on chat and then you can all, watch it later. But this is like a fascinating video where the professor, right, what you can see over here, the professor is originally speaking in English, but then it translates it to Tamil and it translates it to Hindi. And in the same way, there is another professor who speaks originally in English, but then his video was showcased in Assamese as well, and pretty authentic. This is all done using Sarvam.ai. So this is another possible tool that you could look at where it's about the language barrier. Teacher shortage, it's very much a reality. The faculty student ratio in India can never be matched and can never be optimal. And therefore, for example, I work at Coursera, and one of the things that we look for is how can we use technology to make the same content available to millions at the same time. Although we may not have thousands of teachers, can we use the platform to give quality access, which takes care of the teacher shortage problem? So how can you use AI to make that unequal access to quality content and quality educators? Exam pressure, right? I just don't understand a particular concept and then I'm sitting for an exam. Can you have something supporting you to do it? So I would encourage you all to look at ChatGPT study mode. Okay, here is an example. There's something called a study mode. Just look it up, search for it on Google and you will find the link. So let's say I want to understand the concept of neural networks. Okay. So I say what are neural networks. Now, if you notice, it will not respond by just giving me an explanation. Okay, it will help me learn better. So look at how it says. It says, okay, what level are you studying this at? Now, in the same thing, if you had said what are neural networks on Google search, it would have taken you to a Wikipedia page or it would have given you a short paragraph which says neural networks are blah, 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 blah. But here, look at this. What has it done? It stopped at step 1. It says, let's build it together. Have you heard how human brain works with neurons? Tell me if you know this. And then it's not giving me any answers. It's in fact asked me a question and it's expecting me to answer. And that is the way for us to overcome what I was talking about, the cognitive debt, right? So Chat GPT's study mode is a great example of how you can overcome cognitive debt and at the same time solve for this exam pressure where you don't have conceptual understanding and you really want to understand from a teacher, you don't have access to the teacher. Hey, what do? You use a tool which is built on generative AI. Of course, in India, the gross enrollment ratio is very low. So our idea is to reach a gross enrollment ratio of 50% by 2030, and we are today around 28 to 29%, which shows how many students are there in the classroom in higher education. And many of them, so only 28% gross enrollment ratio means 72% are getting dropped off, either because of English barrier, because of teacher shortage, because of exam, of conceptual understanding shortage, etc. Artificial intelligence, Gen AI can be a good technology that can help solve this very real problem which is there in India. Right, so I thought I will give you some examples of problems, right? You don't have to take these examples and build on it, but based on all of these problems that we have been talking about, here are some examples to think through. So let's say an AI doubt solver that teaches through gamification. So the problem is that generally when students Google for questions, they receive direct answers and they skip actually understanding the concept and they get disengaged. Instead, can you gamify that by having a doubt solver that teaches through play? So the AI that explains step by step, it personalizes, it gamifies concepts through very interactive multimodal activities. Some of them can be just a quiz, some of them can be audio, some of them can be a back and forth conversation, a role play, etc. The next one, like I said, is a local language learning companion where it teaches you in your native language. The biggest problem, like I said, is that English is not the standard medium of instruction across India, while most AI tools that are available today all default to English. So millions of our Indians get left behind. So can you create some kind of an AI companion that translates, coaches, and converses in the learner's native language? Looking at that native curriculum. So state curriculum, state syllabus varies from one state to another. So can you make something which is very regional and local? Like I said, one inspiration for you to is look at Sarvam Studio, where I showed you that video. The audio was not clear, but it is able to translate a video with audio dubbing into multiple languages. Already Sarvam, explore the Sarvam Studio, go to that link. It already supports translation and dubbing in 11 languages. So you can build on it. You can use that LLM to create your solutions. Another deep dive is Career Navigator. Whether you are an 18-year-old student or whether you are a 50-year-old professional like me, sometimes we don't know what we need to study next, what skills we need to build next in order to either get the first job or to move from one job to another. There are like too many choices. I mean, you go to Coursera platform, there are today more than 10,000 courses. And what do you select? How do I know what I need to study, right? Finding the course, enrolling in the course, and completing it is a different matter, but I don't even know who can guide me, right? When there are no teachers, there are clearly no career coaches either. So, an AI based career navigator is a great problem or a great tool to build. It takes as input what is your context, what do you know, what are your interests, what are you weak at, what do you want to do as you grow up, what are your favorite subjects, and what are your skill levels. It then does the analysis, mapping your skills profile to what are the jobs available, what are the job roles, and what is the skill gap between where you are and where you want to be. And it gives you a very clear upskilling roadmap. This is somewhat there on LinkedIn, but it requires a paid subscription and it is not localized, right? It is still in English, built for a global audience. So maybe a career navigator could be a great idea for you to explore. So as you are building it, right, as you are looking at the entire space of AI in education, you're looking at the problems, you're looking at the risks, you're looking at what are the tools that are already available to you. My guidance to you is to just keep it very, very simple, right? As you prepare your problem statement and your proof of concepts, pick one problem. Identify who's that user for you, what is their challenge, and how can AI help solve that challenge. So pick one problem, but go deep and resist the urge to build a what I call a catch-all, which means it will solve everything together. Start with one problem with a very specific pain point and build only for that. And define one user, right? You cannot build something for a class 8 student sitting in Jaipur and maybe a first year undergrad student who is sitting in Bangalore. Their needs are very, very different. Their context is very different. So define that one user very clearly and build that one feature when you're building your proof of concepts. And if it's one feature which is done brilliantly, it beats 10 features which you've done very poorly. And in everything, since you're building for education, keep the learner as the central point. If it does not help the student learn, if it does not help the teacher teach, it's probably not worth building. So my build guidance for you as you identify your problem statement and you start creating your solution is this: one problem, one user, one feature, and at the center should be teaching and learning. So with that, I will leave you with just a very quick message. The next big idea in education is waiting to be built. It's waiting to be built in India, and it's waiting to be built by you. So I hope that there is some transformational EdTech tool where you see a real problem worth solving and you use this massive witch hunt platform to do it. So it's all up to you. Thank you so much for your time and attention. If possible, I'm happy to have some kind of Q&A if you need it. I have, I think, one question that I see here where you think that psychosomatic analysis would be helpful in career navigation. I think so. I think any of these proven tools which are there, it's a good idea to start building it out on for career navigation and not just for careers for working professionals, but even for students just graduating out. It could be a great idea for you to build that. There is a startup which is working out of Deshpande Foundation, Hubli, their sandbox, and they had a similar tool. I don't know if it was psychosomatic, but it was some kind of psychometric assessment that they were doing. So yes, that's a good place for you to look at it. So, for example, the startup that I am referring to, Mahima, is called Swayam Analytics. I'm going to share my screen so that you can take a look at it as well, and then possibly see if that gives you inspiration. So this is Swayam Analytics, and the lady who's building it out, she also has a very proven model which is based on personality behavior assessments, and it is made very much for India with an Indian context in mind. So I don't know exactly what psychosomatic analysis is, but this one is based on psychometric analysis. So short answer is yes.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, just to add to that, what Ramya said, there are, vocational guidance institutes, and quite a few do this free of charge, right? You can kind of go there and get your personality assessment done. They can guide you also what are your inherent strengths in terms of your capabilities, and that will help you. Not that that's a kind of a end point, but at least you get a sense of these are areas that you can build potentially your career on because those are natural strengths for you, right? So yeah, absolutely. And that was a great question, Mahima. Any other questions for Ramya? Yeah, so I mean, very, very interesting use cases, Ramya, we saw for candidates as well as potentially what they can look at as the gaps are. I mean, in your opinion, and you have been in this EdTech field for a fairly long time, what are the most unexplored areas that come to your top of your mind, and those could be potential cases that these participants can look at.
Yeah, sure. So there are two places. So when I speak to education institutions, two places come up. One of them is definitely on mining the analytics. So there are lots of tools that are out there behind most of the LMSs, LXPs, where they help identify learning patterns, and then they give directions to the teachers on how the students are performing, how to assess it, where a student is likely to drop, and so on. But these are generally more of lagging indicators than leading indicators, right? So catching the student at the point the student disengages, right? And doing that basis using analytics and AI is quite an area which is being explored, but we still don't have the best example. So that's one. And the second one is if you come purely from a higher education perspective, then hands-on learning activities. And the reason I say mention that is because so far digital learning has been more about watching videos. If you have done online courses, it's like you watch a video, you probably do a quiz, and then you get a certificate, right? But today, there is a lot of demand for hands-on learning, and you can't do hands-on learning, you can't do interactive learning at scale in person. So there have to be ways for you to start doing them online, and that is another area which is worth doing. I will, as has been my preference, I will share an example, and this is an example on Coursera. But we're just scratching the surface here. There is so much to be done. So on Coursera till 2023, the hands-on learning part was there, but it wasn't so elaborate as it is today in 2026. So what you see here on screen is an example of a public relations course where after I watch all of these videos, I'm actually given a role play where I'm supposed to do this activity where I'm the head of a PR firm at an aerospace company. I'm about to launch a new training program and I am talking to a technology journalist. So it actually tells me that I can do a voice chat. Look at this. I can actually speak this role play and do it. So this is one example, but I think the entire hands-on learning part is has a lot of scope to explore and do more.
Thank you, Ramya. Open to participants for any questions you may have. Uh, all HopeWorks centers, I know you are connecting in groups, but participants outside HopeWorks as well. If there are anything or you have suggestions you have come across in your environment while your learning experience, right? That these are the problems, and you may want to check with Ramya if there are, some kind of further solution development is happening, because Coursera is a market leader into building learning solutions. So, not only that she can get some direction for you, but at the same time, she can tell you where, the world is moving for such specific problems. Yeah, there is a question. Indian schools are under the state
Yeah.
boards. If we plan to for B2G model, then what are the current issues in B2G?
So when you look at going through government, right? I think the problems will be more around the business and the implementation side of things. So in principle, the solution can really scale if you go through the state board. You go through the state board and then you go to all the government and the aided schools in that particular state. You can do scale. You also get the top-down authority. But actual rolling it out, especially when you go B2G, but your end beneficiary is a student and a government school teacher, then your delivery model will have to be extremely tight, and there will be a large layer of services play that you will have to bring in. So you can't be a product only company, because what will happen is you are selling to the government. The government will just force the solution on the teacher. The teacher in the government school, you have no direct control over. But without that teacher, you can't run it. So you'll have to have a very heavy services arm for you to be able to do it. The government gives you the mandate, the authority, the credibility, and the access to the schools. But the actual rollout of the into the schools and the success of your solution will require services layer. So that, I think, is something that you need to think about if you are designing a product around it. Otherwise, um, for government schools, I think the biggest problem is, of course, standardization of curriculum and standardization of quality, because not all government schools are at the same level. So anything which can help standardize the curriculum, make it regional, and give them analytics, give them a dashboard. There can't be any government investment that is done where there is no dashboard that the government can see which schools, how are they performing, which district, which province is performing well or not. So if you take care of all of that, then the government is a good place for you to scale out.
Yeah, and that's a very interesting question. Again, Mahima, you seem to be asking absolutely spot on questions. So, if you recall, if you attended one of the boot camp sessions by Rucha Pandey, who had actually given a complete top-down view of how public education in India at state level works, right? So, if you have to really work on any specific problem, there are four layers, right? Within the state, there are district, and how the clusters below that evolve. So maybe a good idea for any B2G player to start with on one of the nodes and pilot that solution. If it works, then you can roll up to the subsequent layer, because government is very structured, right? And you need to get a good champion in either of those four layers, who can, if you are sold that solution and are you convinced about the impact, they will take it within the system, in the government. So I think that's a I mean, good question. And yeah, there are ways possible. Maybe you may want to refer to Rucha Pandit's session to understand how the layering within the government system, especially for public education, happens. Over to you, Ramya. So yeah, yeah, very nice way. um okay, this is posted by you. Any other questions for Ramya? We still have 8, 9 minutes to go.
As I was starting the session, my son, he's 21 years old. He told me, Amma, you're not boring them for the entire 1 hour. Keep your presentation only to 30 minutes. So I was very brief, but I am a registered mentor on the platform as well. So if anyone, if you want to ping me and get some mentoring access, then please feel free to do that. But yeah, I mean, I would love to hear if anybody can type in chat or um, unmute themselves and share if you're already thinking of a particular idea. It will be good inspiration for the others.
Yeah, if anyone has an idea and wants to speak, please
Yeah.
respond on chat and we'll unmute your mic. Dipti, Dipti was facing some power challenges where she's joining in. I hope she's back.
Over here. So I'm joining with Asia's
Yeah.
system.
Okay, great. Anyone who is aspiring to pick up a problem in education domain, maybe and you are at early stage and you want inputs on your idea, want to get it refined, this is your best opportunity. Yes.
I think they are still thinking.
Yeah.
And guys, while you're still thinking, please feel free to drop in your doubts, drop in your questions anytime to us, and we'll be able to answer it for you. Right? With that, a heartfelt thank you to Ramya Srinivasan for such an insightful and inspiring session
Okay.
on AI education. Ramya introduced us to fascinating quick draw app, and throughout we went through a lot of apps, and she also told us how we are drifting from internet era to AI era, and how education system is changing, how there are apps that teachers can use like Khan Academy and Magic School, free AI question generators, and accessibility, how local language learning companion is helping everybody to learn things in their own local language. As we all know, things that we learn in our local language register sooner, right, than we struggle to learn in foreign language and fall behind. It is always better to learn it in our native language. We also saw teachers support AI powered content and presentation tools like Gamma, AI career navigators for student guidance. Ramya, I have learned a lot in this session, and I'm sure that our students and participants have learned in also. So,
Yeah,
alongside
absolutely.
this opportunity, you have also taught us about the risk and pitfalls of AIs, right? That is very important and very thoughtful. So finally, you also introduced us to Sarvam app. I'm sorry, Sarvam AI.
Yeah.
Yes. So really thankful for this session, and looking forward to connect with you more, to know more. So thank you, Ramya, for equipping us with knowledge, perspective, and inspiration to
Thank you.
innovate responsibly.
Yeah, so
Thank
again,
you.
thank you so much, Ramya. And for participants, as Ramya just now said, she's also signed up as a mentor for, all problem statements coming in education domain. And we will facilitate those sessions to interact with Ramya as and required as we hear from you, specific ideas that you are signing up for. So this interaction will continue. And we're very happy to have Ramya for next few months on board with us to guide you in this space. So Ramya, thank you so much. And one last, I think, call out that, I mean, everybody from AI space expert is coming, use AI as your assistant and intelligent partner, right? And you don't become assistant to AI. I think that's a message
Exactly.
Ramya will give very strongly, and I would like to reiterate on that. Yeah, with that, thank you so much, Ramya. Thank you. Have a wonderful time. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
It
you,
was a
Ramya.
pleasure. And I hope I hear from many of you. And I hope I have inspired some of you to think about billing for the education sector because there's a lot that we need to do here in India in that space. So good luck and thank you to the Hope Works team. Bye bye.
Thank you, Ramya. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So Dipti, what's our next session going to be? While students are kind of coming up, I think some more people have signed in, few have dropped out, but yes, the number is rising.
Sure. Yes, I would request everybody, please do not sign off. We still have very interesting
more session
session
to go.
coming up. Yes, we still have a very interesting session coming up. This session was curated based on one of the comments that we received in the previous session, and it will soon unfold. So we now move forward to a very meaningful session, one that focuses on creating safe, respectful, and inclusive environment for everybody. Right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, very well said, Dipti. So, again, I would like to reiterate, we are listening to your feedback, your comments on Discord, and any interactions that we have in sessions like this. While, we are trying to do as much possible to give you every dimension of learning that is needed for your, mm, problem to shape up better and, solution to evolve. And of course, those become tomorrow's solutions for today's problems. So it's important while we kind of are, bringing sources to you to hear from you. How are you consuming? What are you saying? Are there anything that you would like us to address differently? Right. And with that, the next session that we have lined up, and we'll just give a couple of minutes more for our next speaker to join in.
Yes, Varsha. Let's wait for Jessie to join in.
Yes, absolutely. Until our next speaker joins in, uh, I think this weekend probably had holiday weekend for some of the colleges. Uh, and that is the reason we are seeing slightly low attendance compared to, last 2 weeks. But having said that, are there any ideas, suggestions while our next speaker is coming on for any of the participants that you would like us to consider, plan our sessions for upcoming weeks? Just type in your responses in chat. Okay, there is a question from Vaishnavi. What will be the format to submit the prototype? Yeah, prototype will is the format deck format is already published on Vichand site. You can refer to that. If you have any specific requirements, which are either in the form of, which require certain assembling or hardware specific requirements, you can call that out in your the solution deck that you're preparing, and we will see how to enable that. But your first milestone is upcoming next week on 8th April is your idea submission. So what problem you are taking up in any of the four domains, which is education, healthcare, smart cities, or climate action. And we have given you overview of all the four domains with different speakers over last few weeks, right? And either around that or outside that, but in the same domain, any problems that you have, you need to first submit that, and there's a format published. You can use subset of that format to kind of bring out idea, and these need to be submitted by teams. So your team and problem statement that you're trying to address, and there are some basic expectations which we covered last week. right? What needs to come up as part of that. There's no evaluation for this milestone, but that will give us an idea of spread of participants in different domains, right? So keep that in mind. If you have any clarifications around that, let us know and we will try to address. Dipti, can you take that question? Prototype format in Hack Culture. I think it is on Witch Hunt website.
It is under the resources section on Hack Culture. The template is there. You need to either copy the template or download the template, and you should be good to go. Just go to the resources section on Hack Culture once you're logged in.
Sanjay, you want to take that?
Yeah, that is the submission for your proposal. Prototype will actually work when you have to do the prototype, the final prototype. We will be uploading a form, and that form typically will have the same refined proposal document, plus some links to the other presentations which you will use, including if you want to have a video shot of your prototype, how it's working. So you can upload it to YouTube and share the link there. So that we will do, but that's the prototype submission is in early May. So hang on for that.
Any other questions from anyone? Yeah, looks like our next speaker, Jacintha, has joined in. So Dipti, over to you.
Thank you, everybody, for your questions, and hope we were able to answer your questions. If not, please reach out to us and with your questions, and please reach out to your mentors if you have received your mentors yet. Um, so moving on, as I said, we now move on to a very important and meaningful session, one that focuses on creating safe, respectful, and inclusive environment for everyone. Before we begin, it is my honor to introduce our next speaker, Jacintha Jayachandran. Jacintha is a leadership coach, entrepreneur, and a social impact leader with over 20 years of experience across HR, talent development and entrepreneurship. She's founder and CEO of HopeWorks Foundation, an organization working with a bold and inspiring vision to empower 1 million girls through education and empowerment.
And last but not the least, she is the driving force behind this entire idea of the hackathon.
Hackathon. Exactly. Please join us in warmly welcoming Jacintha Jayachandran.
Jacinta, you are on mute.
Yeah, we're not yet able to hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yes.
now?
Yes, Jesse.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's echoing for some reason.
Is it echoing so much?
Yes,
Lakshmi
yes, Jesse, we can hear you.
Okay, participants will just give a minute more for Jacintha to get into a better connectivity place. Yeah.
I, I want to hear you when you say, what according to you, is harassment? What is harassment? Yeah. And Asya, I hope you can open up the slides for me. Yeah. Anybody could go into the chat, yeah, and type out what according to you is harassment. What is harassment according to you? You could put your responses on the chat.
Just your volume is very low. Can you come closer to the mic or increase the volume?
I am close to the laptop.
Yeah, even our participants are saying not audible.
Okay, I really don't know what the confusion is. Just 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, just 1 minute. Okay, is it better now?
Much, much better. Thank you, Jesse.
Okay, all right. Okay. Lakshmi helped me with that. Thank you so much. Okay, so my first question to the audience is what, according to you, is harassment? What is harassment, really? Yep. What is harassment? Anybody can answer, and there's nothing like right or wrong answer. Please just tell me what, according to you, is harassment. Any child can answer. Pooja, Mahima, giving problem, Pooja, nice, okay, yes, okay. Playing with one's feelings, okay. Unwanted behavior, Kalpana, brilliant, okay. Unwanted, unwelcome behavior, yes. Vaishnavi, fantastic. Harassment is unwanted behavior that hurts, disturbs, or makes a person feel uncomfortable. You've got the session right there. Things that hurt us without our permission, teasing, what makes me uncomfortable, physical or verbal abuse. What can I say? This audience actually completely knows what harassment is really. Yeah. And, in order to understand harassment, the girl feeling unsafe in her environment. Brilliant answer, Mahima. Brilliant. I think all of your responses are absolutely correct. Okay. And I'm so happy to hear these responses. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Anything that's troubling you, so simply put, but so well put, Anita. Thank you so much. Anything that troubles you, anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, and it is unwelcome, okay, you do not want it, right? Is harassment. Okay. It is unwanted, uninvited, and unwelcome. Yeah. And that behavior, if it disturbs me, which it will, will definitely be a reason to call it harassment. Okay. Now, what happened in India is that a lot of harassment, especially teasing, even in our movies, right? It's perfectly okay for the hero to persist with a girl who is already saying no, no, no to him, and then eventually go garland him. We made, teasing on the road. Even if a girl says no, to believe that somehow in the end she will eventually fall in love with him, because who can resist a hero, right? Those kind of behaviors have been promoted, accepted, and believed in our culture for a very, very long time. Okay. And it was actually in, you can move the slides. Very interestingly, I'll tell you something. I went to this village in Tirupur where you have garment manufacturing companies, right? Very, very large number of garment manufacturing units where, by the way, in garment manufacturing, majority are women. They are the tailors. But the supervisors and the shift supervisor, the manager, the floor manager, etc., you can move the next slide, will most likely be men. Yeah. And when I asked the women, why have you not become a supervisor? Why have you not become, a manager in the company? They said, they can all stay back and work, but we want to run from here the minute our shift is over, because during shift itself we get harassed. Okay, so imagine staying back. It's not just in the factory, but when we go, yeah, in the public transport, we get harassed, right? If it is dark, in reaching our villages, our neighboring villages, it is again difficult for us. So safety, is not assured for a woman, right? Whether it's a workplace, sometimes it can be home, it can be public spaces like the buses we travel in, even on the road. I'm sure, if I ask this audience, have you ever been touched or pinched or felt unwelcome touching of, somebody? How many of you will raise hands? Just put out. Yeah, how many of you will raise hands? I have been touched inappropriately in public transport buses, especially when we were going to school and colleges. How many of you? Just raise your hands. Let's see. How many of you have been touched inappropriately? Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. You can just raise your hands. Yeah. Asha, I see you putting depression. Depression. Is it depression that you're feeling sad? I don't get what you're telling me, my girl, but you can reach out to me or Lakshmi after the call and I can talk to you. Yeah. Vamsha, you have been touched inappropriately. Kalpana, you have been touched inappropriately. It's almost accepted as normal that when a girl goes out, if the boy or a man walking around on the road, feels the necessity to touch you, he can just come and touch you. He can come brush past you. He can come and hit against you. Maybe he can pinch you. He can, it's just acceptable. They think it is okay to do it. Okay. Thank you, Maria Jennifer. Thank you, Kalpana. So the whole idea is when we go to work, right? And I'm not talking about you going to work right away. You're all students, but the college that you go to is a workplace for all your professors and lecturers and teachers. Yeah. Whether it is a school, whether it is a college, even HopeWorks Foundation is a place that you are coming to attend training programs, is a workplace for all of us, right? In all of these places, you are expected to be protected from sexual harassment. And it is called SH. Instead of using two full words all the time, I prefer to use the word SH. It is called SH. And why did they come up with the law? Because it became rampant across many companies, and women did not have a way to complain about it, right? And therefore, they felt the need to make sure that women feel safe at workplace. And that is how prevention of sexual harassment became an act. It became a law in India. A law means you cannot break it without facing consequences, which means, if I'm going on a road in traffic and I cross when there is a stop signal which is red in color and I still break that and go ahead, it's a law. You will be punished, which means you will be asked to pay a fine, right? If government only told you, it is good not to travel like that, just keep quiet, etc., it doesn't become a law. Law is something that the government proposes and puts it out, and it is not just necessary, it is compulsory for every human being in India who's a citizen of this country to actually abide by that law. You don't have a choice. Laws do not give you a choice. They are compulsory agreement to follow the law of the land, right? So the first thing is that it became a law in 2013. Yeah. And all organizations where people come to work, you may not go to college to work, but all your professors, lecturers, teachers, the cleaning staff, everybody is coming there to work because they do get paid a salary. It is an employment, which means it is a workplace, which means your colleges are also supposed to be respectful of the law, train all of you to make sure that there is no harassment in the workplace. Is that okay? Am I being clear? Am I being understood? Anything else you need, please put it in the chat. I'll be happy to sort of change what I'm saying, etc., etc. Okay. So, what does the law in India say? Right? What does the law say? What is harassment? Anything that is unwelcome, right? We just had a meeting here. We were meeting two very young people. And while going, we were all shaking hands. And I'm a big hugger. I like to hug people. But I asked permission from the young gentleman who had come, saying, is it okay to give a hug? Right? You have to ask. You can't say, I feel like hugging you, so I want to come and hug you because I love hugging people. No, it's not okay. Right? I did ask permission. And therefore, my friends, it's very important. It's unwelcome when you are just doing it because you like it and somebody else doesn't want it, right? They don't want to be hugged. They don't want to be touched. Then what you are doing is unwelcome. Okay. So you must remember that. Okay. So any physical contact or advances, yeah, which includes, by the way, I'm sitting at a table right now, and imagine somebody comes and sits on this chair, right, or this table, and is coming very close to me, right? Is coming very close to my body, and I don't like it. Okay, it is unwelcome. You always stand a little at a distance and then say, can I speak to you? Okay. The second is, of course, they demand a sexual favor, which means they actually expect you to get physically intimate with them, right? And we all understand what is physical intimacy, right? It could be hugging, it could be kissing, it could be anything else, right? Going, even further. Now, the point is, if they explicitly demand, okay, last week in a college somewhere in India, a professor proposed to a girl in a room full of other students, right? Is it sexual harassment? It absolutely is. Okay. Because one, she did not ask for it. He was in love with her. He decided to express his love for her in front of a whole lot of audience and ask her, will you marry me or whatever it is? It is unacceptable. Okay. The second one, third one is sexually colored remarks. Anybody passing any comments about your body, right? And says, you are available to me. You are a girl who can be touched. You are this. Can I hug you? Can I touch you? Etc. 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 is absolutely unacceptable, right? The next one is showing pornography, which means we're all having phones nowadays, and some of your, classmates, maybe your lecturers, your professors, anybody, because they think they want to get close to you or make you feel uncomfortable, may send you unwanted pictures, yeah, or even pornographic videos, definitely falls under, sexual harassment, right? The last one is, of course, harassment can be physical, which means there is some touch involved, right? It could be verbal, which means it is spoken, right? It comes out of your mouth and I can hear you speak it. The next one is non-verbal, which means it can be a gesture, right? like somebody biting their lips in front of you, right? It's unnecessary, okay? Or showing, even the middle finger sometimes can completely be out of context, okay? So please remember, sexual harassment could be physical, verbal, non-verbal, okay? No matter how many movies you watch, and no matter how many times a Mr. Salman Khan or an actor Vijay or somebody else goes and touches a girl and says, "You are meant for me," or any of those things, please remember it is sexual harassment. If the girl has not consented to it and has said, "This is not welcome for me," yeah, in more ways than one, yeah. So, this is, if you understand it, please put some kind of a thumbs up sign and say, "This is sexual harassment and I understand harassment completely." Are you with me? Do you understand what is SH? Yeah. It can be physical, it can be verbal, it can be non-verbal, it can be merely a gesture. Yeah. Yes. Okay. I see a couple of hands going up. Okay. I see a lot of hands going up. Thank you so much. I hope you are clear. You don't have to tolerate it. Okay. You are not supposed to tolerate it. It is not required to tolerate it. Okay. If you can move to the next slide, Asya. Yeah. So, what does physical harassment mean, right? Now, if you see the picture, it's like a person is blocking your way, right? He's not touching you, okay? He's not touching you, okay? But he's blocking your way and making it difficult for you to move, right? That is also physical because they are closing the space around you and making it very uncomfortable for you, okay? The second one is pinching, grabbing, rubbing past you, leaning over near your face, any of that, unwelcome hugging. If nobody has asked you permission, please, you know what? You don't have to go and hug that person, right? Or that person doesn't have a right to come and hug you either. So, kissing someone, forcing sexual intercourse, or rape or attempted rape, right? All of it falls under physical harassment, absolutely. Now, in the case of harassment that falls, in the top numbers, except the last one, which is rape or attempted rape, you know, you can go to your college authorities and complain. Okay. If you go to the previous slide, yeah. But if it is a case of rape or attempted rape, right? You have every right to go to the police directly. You don't have to say, "I should first go to my college, report this complaint, and go, etc., etc." Not required at all, right? Even in other cases, if you feel you're being forced dramatically, you can still go and complain. Nobody is going to stop you. If your college already has a policy on prevention of sexual harassment, it is understood that you can complain to the college and the college has to take necessary action. And I will explain in the next steps what are the actions that a college is expected to take. Yeah. During COVID times and after that, wherever, there were a lot of school complaints about teachers when they were during tuition classes or after class hours also, that a tuition teacher came and sat in a towel, in front of students and made them feel very uncomfortable. And he started doing this repeatedly. Of course, it is harassment. Okay. It is absolute harassment. Okay. Next slide, please. Yeah. It's the non-verbal, right? The first thing is, do they show you pictures that you are not comfortable? They share it like a joke. Yeah. They share it like a picture. It could even be, say, one of our actors, maybe in a swimwear, and they send it to you and they say, "You look as beautiful," right? Yeah. It is still sexual harassment. Okay. And anything that comes in the form of gestures, pictures, any of these things. And the last one, if you notice, we are saying stalking, which means they are following you, right? They follow in their bikes, they come with their friends behind you. They keep giving you signals that they are interested in you, and you are not interested in any of those things. It still falls under sexual harassment. Okay. Some time ago, one of the politicians said, "Bacche hain, aisa hi karenge." Yeah. Um, okay, Mahima, I hear you. Okay, I'll come back to you. Right. So leering, staring, uh, whistling, sucking, lip smacking, sexually explicit gestures, stalking you, just coming close to you as you move towards a bus. All of these things are harassment. Now, Mahima, coming to your question, it's not always easy to recognize inappropriate touch. Sometimes we may be unsure how to identify it. Okay. It is inappropriate if you have not asked for it. That's it. That is it, right? Like tomorrow is Easter. I'm going to hug a lot of my friends and family because it's the norm in my family, right? It's okay to give a hug and wish them for Easter. But if I've invited, say, a friend, okay, or I'm going to a friend's house to, greet them for Easter, I'm not going to straight away go and hug them, okay? I'm going to ask permission. Once you think it's a mistake, right? I didn't feel like it, but you did it. It's okay. But you can tell them, yeah, hey, you know what? I don't like being hugged. It's okay. But if the person comes second time also and hugs you, now there it becomes unwelcome. The first time, maybe you both didn't understand what's expected and what should not be done. Second time around, if the person repeats the behavior, it means it is harassment. There are no two ways about it. Is it clear, Mahima? Do you understand it? Please tell me that I can give you more examples. Is it okay? Mahima, do you understand? Okay, I hope Mahima you're able to hear me. Please do. Yes, okay, fantastic. Okay, now we can move ahead to the next slide. Unwelcome is the word, my child. Unwelcome. Okay. If it means I have not invited this. Stay away. Okay. Whoever it could be. Okay. It could be your uncle. In fact, one of our first batch students came back and told us about an uncle who would always touch her bottom. Okay, whenever they went to uncle's house. Now you might think this is an uncle. He's seen you from you were a baby. He must have lifted you. Maybe he's changed your napkins. But you know what? Now you're not a baby. Yeah. Now you're a fully grown woman, 18 years and above. Or even if you're younger, you're not supposed to be touched inappropriately on your bottom. Now, what happened for this child was not just the uncle. Watching the uncle do it, the uncle's son also started doing the same thing. And that's when she said, I don't feel like going to their house. And the first thing you do is cut off all contact. Okay. That's the way you say, I am not interested in this. Okay. The third one is, of course, verbal, right? They can send you jokes which may seem like double meaning jokes, right? We all know what the double meaning jokes are. If you think this person sending me this joke is uncomfortable, do not entertain. Reply back to the joke immediately and say, I am not comfortable. Do not send me these jokes. Next, block the person. That's it. Just block the person. If you're in a group and the joke is coming in the group, go away from the group. It's perfectly fine. You don't have to hang in there, right? Just go away from the group and say, I'm not interested. Okay. Any comment with sexual overtones, which is, I'm really waiting for someone like you to come, I am really looking at you as my wife in the future. Anything that makes you feel uncomfortable, please, you're most welcome to say no. Yeah. If they tell you, will you please come out with me? Will you please come out with me? I just want to take you out. You are not interested, don't. Yeah. If they call you and say dirty things, right? Like the dress you were wearing today was very nice on you. They can tell that you when they meet you in person. Oh, you're looking so beautiful. They don't have to go home, call you up from there, describe your clothes and describe how you fitted into those clothes. Not required. Yeah. Any email messages, Instagram, WhatsApp, etc., which looks uncomfortable because it does look sexual, well, it is inappropriate and you can say no to it. Any use of vulgar language, right, which is dirty language that they may use, well, once again, you can go ahead. Anything that describes your body parts, right? Anything that is not acceptable, for us to talk to each other is clearly something that you can go ahead and lodge a complaint about. Yeah. So there is verbal, yeah, there is physical, and there is non-verbal. Three types of harassment, okay, that anybody can experience, by the way, not just in our homes, sometimes in our colleges and schools, in public places, right? In public places, it is even more common, right? So I think it's very important that we highlight it and say. Now, let me bring the example of public places. You're in a bus, it's really crowded, and here is this guy falling on you all the time, and all the time, you know what? Call the conductor and say, I'm uncomfortable. Yeah. Some of us may not be comfortable enough to turn around and slap the boy or something like that. It may feel uncomfortable to do these things, but physically remove yourself, right? Or shout. Say that somebody is trying to touch me here and I don't like it, right? It is the best thing that you can do. We can shout and call for attention, okay, and say something's happening here and I'm not comfortable with it. The minute you speak loudly, by the way, people who do this are not good people, right? They will always get scared and run away. The minute you bring attention, they become bold only when you keep quiet. So you become bold and scream or shout, and they will go away. That's what happens with most people who are good at harassing other people. They do it quietly and they try to make you feel frightened. Yeah, that it's not okay to complain. You can move to the next slide. Yeah, we have like another 30 minutes. Okay. Yeah. If in the college, they come to you and they say, you know what, I'll give you more marks. All you have to do is come with me, right? So it's a workplace for your professors and lecturers, but you could be being harassed, right? So you don't believe that, how can I complain about it? You can still complain about it, right? Or somebody might come back and say, I will fail you if you don't come with me, right? Coercive power, absolutely, Mahima. Okay, absolutely. It is power being used to suppress you by telling you, I will do something good to you or I will do something bad to you, right? Either of them is completely possible. Yeah. And it is a behavior that actually comes into your mind if next day you're feeling scared to go inside that classroom, right? If you're feeling scared to go to that college, well, it means you're being harassed. Okay. This is not about getting scared of maths and not going to college. And that's not what I'm saying. This is really about someone's behavior which is making it uncomfortable. Yeah. Which, by the way, is sexually, demanding. Yeah. And last but not the least is this begins to impact your mental health, physical health, and your feeling of safety. Now, that is where it becomes harassment. Okay, just for you to understand. So while the law is for prevention of harassment at workplace, it does not mean that it is not a workplace. If you are going there as a student, it is still a workplace where other people are coming and working, and they are expected to abide by this law. And if they are not, you have every right to highlight it. I'll give you a same example. Only people above 18 and above are supposed to have a driving license in India, right? It does not mean that when you find somebody who's violating a law, you can't complain about it because you're 15 years old. You can still complain about it, right? Because it is not the correct behavior. Okay. So do not think that you have no right to complain. You have every right to complain. Please go check in your colleges if they have published prevention of sexual harassment policy, which they should have. Okay. And you should have a way to complain if you are getting harassed. Okay. You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So I'll give you examples. These are examples of a workplace. Yeah. So there is a girl called Lata, her manager. Now, this could be a professor, okay, calls you into their cabin. Yeah. our professors have their teachers' room or lecturers' room, etc., etc., and calls you into the room, okay, to have private discussions. Yeah. And one day tries to touch you or tries to kiss you and says, you know what? You be good to me and I will give you great marks. I know you're not good in this subject, but I will make sure you pass. Okay. Is it harassment? Is it harassment? Yeah. I want the audience to answer. Is this harassment? Yes. Okay. All right, Mahima. Thank you so much. Okay. You can move to the next slide. Okay. The next one is, there's a lady by name Shanti. Yeah. And, all the people around her, typically come and crack dirty jokes, if they marry and come, they'll ask them, so how was honeymoon, and wink at them. There can be such silly conversations, but they can all be uncomfortable. Okay. And this person's feeling uncomfortable. Is this harassment? Yeah. Looking at a girl who's newly married, who's come or something like that, and say, what, you did not sleep all through the night, you're looking like that. It is harassment. Okay. It absolutely is harassment. Okay. Go to the next slide. Yeah. Let's assume that Ashok and Deepa are working on a project together. You're working with your professor or your lecturer on a project together.
When are we going to start?
Sanjay, I think you need to go on mute.
The diet started today.
Sanjay, I think you. Okay, thank you. All right, okay. So, Deepa feels that Ashok is sitting too close to her when they're discussing a project. Okay. Then one fine day, he came even closer and started touching her, like gently on her legs, maybe her knee or something like that. Is it harassment? Is it harassment? Asha, Darshini, Vamsha, Pavani, yes, it is. Okay. Anybody coming too close to you and you're not comfortable, please tell them this is harassment. Okay. And that's perfectly fine, right? Okay. You want to go to the next slide? Excellent, Kalpana. Thank you so much. Okay. Can we go to slide 4? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So Sunil is a friend and calls you out for lunch one day. Okay. She feels that she's not comfortable. Yeah. And never again came back and asked her again, saying, did not even come back and say, hey, you know what? I just called you to have dinner. What you thought? I'm interested in you. Nothing. She said, I'm not comfortable. I don't feel like going out for lunch with you. And he said, okay, and after that did not come back and ask her anything. Is this harassment? Is this harassment? Kalpana, Priya, anybody? Is this harassment? Like the response from Vamsha. She says good for her. Oh, thank you, Vamsha. I think that made it so nice. Good for him. Indeed, he better step back, right? Absolutely. Yeah. So it is not harassment because once he asked and the person said no, good for him, he backed off. Otherwise, we would have gone down the path of putting a case against him, right? So you can go to the next slide. Thank you. I think the session's brilliantly simple because I think we all live this every day in our lives. No matter who you are, no matter what you are doing, it is possible that you are experiencing this, right? So Meena is, complaining to her manager. In your case, it could be your, say, another subject teacher, another professor, whatever, right? Where a person is sending you messages saying, you are so beautiful. I love you. I can't sleep without, dreaming of you. I want you, and so on and so on, and that's beginning to impact the person's concentration in college. Yeah. When asked, Samir says, the boy, that, genuinely loved her. Can this be considered harassment? Yeah. Can this be considered harassment? That good for him was too much. No? It is harassment, my friends. It is harassment. You know why? Because the person has not expressed any interest. The person has not. Okay. Therefore, you love the person. It's okay. But the person doesn't love you back. Okay. It's still harassment. Okay. You can't persist in this behavior. Yeah. Workplace harassment does not mean a physical place. It is not like if the person harasses you only inside your college, right? It is considered as harassment. No. Imagine you both travel in the same bus. Yeah. And the person persists. It is still considered harassment. Okay. You suddenly meet somebody, who's your, say, lecturer, professor, or somebody who works in your college, maybe a lab assistant, whatever, in a mall. Okay. You both have, you go there and that person comes there. Okay. And you just meet each other over there. And the person either touches you or says something or gestures to you in a manner that looks like sexual harassment. Is it harassment? It is. The location does not matter. Okay. Or imagine both of you are, going for a picnic. Okay, college is taking with one lecturer some 50 students for a picnic. Okay, and there something happens. Is it sexual harassment? It is sexual harassment. So please do not say workplace or any of these things means it is a physical space. It is not. Okay, it can be any space. Okay, it can be any space where you both know each other, you have come together, and there the harassment takes place. Okay, and it is unacceptable. Is that understood? Is it okay? Am I being clear? Are you able to understand? Yeah. Can everybody put up? Yes. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. You can move to the, yeah, you can move, Asia, to the next set of slides. Yeah. Yeah. um, Yeah, I think I've explained this, so it's okay. Even if there is a one time visitor to your college who harassed you, you can still take that complaint. Yeah. Now, your college should have a policy which actually prevents and prohibits sexual harassment, which means you should have what is called as an internal complaints committee. Yeah, it's called ICC. Okay. Now, internal complaints committee is empowered, which means it has the power to take decision about any complaint that comes to it. Okay. And, I'm on the ICC of 3 companies. Okay. Now, if there is a complaint that is being lodged in any of these companies, anywhere, right, it will come into my inbox and I have to look at it. Okay. And the ICC has every authority to investigate the case. Yeah. Give judgments. Okay. My boyfriend says he loves me and we are in a committed relationship. When he talks or says he can't stop thinking of me, is it harassment? Priya, if you're in a committed relationship and he's saying these things and you feel it's okay, it's okay. But tomorrow, if you break up, right, and he keeps saying this again and again to you, now that is harassment. Yeah. Also, I don't know if you are 18 and above. Okay. If you're not 18 and above, okay, then it is harassment. Okay. Just to let you know. Yeah. So, the first thing you need to know is they will ask you to give a written complaint. Yeah. A written complaint where, there will be people who are trained in investigation. Yeah. And once they know that you write and give the complaint, a copy of the complaint will also be given to the person against whom you are complaining. Okay. So we don't use the word victim and harasser. We use the word complainant and respondent. Okay. Because till the case is proved, I don't know if the person did something wrong. It is unfair, right, for me to call that person harasser. So the idea is to say, you know what, put, your idea of what you experience with date, timeline, everything. And then a copy of it is given to the respondent. Yeah. And then we usually ask, can we get you both to talk to each other? And if there is a misunderstanding, to solve it. First offer is always mediation, which is two people are uncomfortable, can we bring them? But you have the right to say, I don't want to talk to that person at all. I want a proper investigation done, and I want that investigation to be done. Okay, it is perfectly fine. You have every right to refuse. You don't have to say, oh, since in my college they are saying I should go and meet him and do mediation, maybe I should do it. No, if you are not comfortable, don't do it. Okay. So the first thing is, typically there will be people who are trained to investigate. That's called the investigating council. Yeah. And the investigating council will mostly have women. There will also be some representation of men. Okay. They will come and sit down with you and ask you to explain in detail what you have given in the written complaint. They will ask you for any evidence, right? Like he pulled my dupatta and it tore. If you say, they will ask you, can you produce that dupatta? Okay. They will ask you, if you say, my friends are all witness to what he does to me all the time, they will ask you to give the names of witnesses, right? And they will call the witnesses to ask, right? Like every time we go towards the bus, ma'am, he's coming and brushing past me. My friends are also with me. They will ask, who are these friends? Can we talk to these friends? Can we ask the questions? So providing written complaint, showing up for the investigation, giving evidence of any material, right? And of course, you may have WhatsApp messages, you may have all of this is evidence, okay? And if you have witnesses, right, who've seen this happen, you're expected to give. Yeah. And that is how the case will get investigated. Once you are fully, discussed through, and then somebody else comes, they talk to the witnesses, they talk to everybody else, they might also then call the respondent to come and talk about what is their idea of the case. They will tell them, we have been told this. Do you accept? Do you not accept? Do you say something else? And then you put it out there, right? And in the course of the investigation, if it is found that the person actually did harass you, yeah, then the committee can recommend action. The action can be anything, right? It could be termination of employment in that college. Yeah. It could be a warning letter being given, or the person being transferred to some other location. It can mean anything out there. Mahima, anonymous ways of reporting for POSH is not acceptable because we don't know if it is truthful enough, right? I mean, you may be seeing something and you're reporting. Maybe if it's anonymous, maybe, 5, 10 people gather together and write. But I always feel, take courage and bring it to notice. Yeah. Take courage and bring it to notice, because that's the way you stop it, not by being anonymous about it. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. So this is the process. You have to complain within 3 months of the actual incident. Okay. A lot of girls usually feel very, very upset about even lodging a complaint, right? So they keep quiet and they may delay it very long. But ideally, you should lodge a complaint within 3 months of the stated date of complaint. Yeah. And all of them who are in the ICC are trained people. Okay. Okay, just 1 minute. There's another question here. How to complain when parents don't call it a harassment or they won't encourage you to complain about it? Okay, now this is sensitive, right? Now, I don't know who you want to complain about and why your parents feel it is okay, not okay to complain about it. If it is about a relative or a friend, sometimes I think, or most often in Indian families, we feel that it is shameful to complain about these things. And sometimes we also think, you must have done something, right? You must have invited attention. Why they didn't go around pinching other people? Why they come and only pinch you? And this question gets asked to us all the time. So I know as girls and women, we are always put in this spot that you invited the trouble. Yeah. But please remember, in India, 4-month-old girls are raped. Yeah. What did that child do? Right? What did that child do? 4-year-old girls get raped. What did the child do? 14-year-old, 40-year-old, 80-year-old also gets. What did they do? Right? So I will believe it's good for you to educate your parents. Now, if your parents are finding it still difficult, actually ask them to talk to one of us. Right? Yeah. You should, always, not only humans, ma'am, even animals are being raped. Yeah, Kalpana. I agree. Yeah, I know. We've had a couple of cases being reported in the news. It is sad. It is terrible, right? But I think it's important that we go out there and complain. Yeah. And take courage. If you need help, please ask us. We will support you in this. Yeah. I know we have like 9 minutes, so I'll try and wrap up as quickly as possible. You can move to the next slide. Yeah, Asya. Yeah. So please, like I told, within 3 months you have to give the complaint. Yeah. You have to provide evidence. You have to give list of witnesses. Yeah. And after that, after the investigations are done, the ICC, as I call it, Internal Complaints Committee, can award any punishment. They almost act like a court, right? In which you go and complain, and then there is investigation. The police will investigate, give the case, and then somebody is supposed to come back and say what action is going to be taken. Action will be and should be taken unless the case is not correct, right? Imagine you were in love with someone and you both were together, and then that person broke off with you, right? That person broke off with you. Now you are angry, upset, and you bring a sexual harassment case against that person, right? Yeah. And if the investigating counsel feels that this was not done with the correct intent, because when you were in a relationship, you both agreed for whatever levels of intimacy you both wanted with each other. But now, when you broke off and he broke off with you, whatever, right? Mostly we will always go and say they made false promises to me, they did this, that, etc. It's true. And if it is proven that you were under that illusion and you were under pressure to submit to any harassment, the case will go, right? But if both of you were consenting individuals and adults in a physical relationship, then it may not go through. I need you to know that. Yeah. By the way, the law is going to look at both of you as equals. Okay. Um, okay, Asha, I get it. Yeah. We'll stick to humans for now. Yeah. Okay. So the idea is, please note, the law is supposed to be fair to both of them. Till such time the law is proved to be, the case is proved to be correct or not correct, right? In terms of their investigation. Yeah. By the way, after the case is completely solved, you feel, I feel that they did not do this correctly in my college. You can still go to the police and lodge a complaint. There is nothing to say this is final. Okay. You can still go, you can still lodge a complaint, and you can still be taken up and on that case. So I'm not saying you have to only do this, right? If you feel there is a need to do, go beyond this and actually speak with the law of the land in the police or anything like that, you're most welcome to do it. Nobody can stop you. Yeah. College cannot come and tell you, oh, we already investigated this case. Why did you go to the police? No, they cannot say that to you. Okay. All right. We can go to the next slide. Yeah. So, like I told you, if there is a possibility that it was a misunderstanding, the person just came and sat next to you, and that day you were very upset and you lodged a complaint, and there is a conciliation possible, they might, also give you that opportunity. Yeah. Once the case is closed, the judgment copies will be given to both of you, right? The complainant and the respondent. And once that is done, the judgment is implemented, right? If you say the person will be transferred to another college in some other area or will be terminated from employment, the case is considered closed. Yeah. That's how the case is completely closed. So most workplaces, including a college, which is a workplace, should have by law, okay, what is called as a zero tolerance policy to harassment. What do we mean by zero tolerance? Which means not even one incident should be there. We do not tolerate it at all. Okay, we do not want it. Yeah. So please note, harassment is viewed very seriously in organizations. Okay. and the case can include any type of investigation, and the case can be judged including warning, promotion, salaries withdrawal, or termination. Anything is possible. Yeah. And with that, we actually complete the prevention of sexual harassment training. I want to stop here and ask, do you have any questions, or I have something to say? Please remember, harassment reduces the dignity of a human being. Okay. You and I, every one of us, man, woman, doesn't matter. We all have human dignity given to us at the time of birth. That's it, right? Now, that dignity gets reduced and destroyed when we undergo harassment. So it is not just about safety, right? Safety itself is so important, but your dignity and worth as a human being gets reduced. And that's why it's very important for us to report the cases, take it to conclusion in terms of really getting people to look at what we can do, not keeping quiet. Yeah. If it is happening in your families, right, and you feel stressed about it, very important to reach out to someone. And if you want to reach out to someone in HopeWorks Foundation, happy to do that, to support you in your journey. We have had one such case, I think, before. Public places are very difficult because they might just walk away or run away. So be very careful. The third one is, if it's in the college, please make sure you are able to report it. If it's in an intimate relationship, right? Which is you have a boyfriend, any of those things. Well, you know what I have already spoken. Kalpana, yeah, your question is, so let's say the man gets terminated from company, but he would still have the rage towards the woman. What if he does something outside the company? Now, this is a risk that we are always running with, right? Yeah, they might get angry, they might get upset, they might come and attack us, they might do all of these things. It's true. It is a risk in that sense, right? But I can tell you, having investigated, I don't know how many hundreds of cases, the men have really not gone after that and done something even more stupid. Most men realize they have crossed the line and they should not have done that. Okay.
Yes, I just would like to add to that as
Sure,
well.
sure, Varsha.
Yeah. So yeah, in such case, in fact, if there is whenever the case closure happens, the respondent is always warned for any potential retaliation he or she may get into. And the consequences of retaliation are even more severe as per POSH law, right? So if that is made known as part of the case closure, very low chances, but even if it happens, the consequences for the respondent is very high, even higher than getting proven on the wrong side in such cases. So don't worry. So in that case, there's a higher protection. And yeah, also this, just you just made a point of in a public area if such thing happens. I mean, all we talked about is in a company or a college or a controlled environment. But if such thing to happen in public, there are local committees at city levels, right, which are formed by government, by local wards, municipal. So at a district level, at city level, there are these local committees who are responsible to get a resolution of any such sexual harassment case. So, but what you need to be aware of, at least go and complain in the local police station, and they will guide you who is the local committee. Yeah.
And the last one is, if you file a deliberate false complaint, it's a lie. Please remember, the same punishments that can be given to the person can also be given to you. Right? So please remember, let's not do something in bad faith, right? Let's do it because we are going through it. It's uncomfortable. It's making me feel terrible. And I shouldn't accept it. It's the simple fact is I shouldn't accept it. So let's move on. Yeah. That brings us to the end of the POSH session for today. Okay, do not tolerate. By the way, as people, not just women, right? When we see one other person is being harassed, right? You can go and lodge a complaint, not anonymously. You can say, I know that person is going through it. That person is not having the courage to file a case. So I am filing the case on that person's behalf. Okay. Because we have to stand up for each other. And that's the way it is. Right. So even a bystander, right? We're all bystanders, right? If somebody is going through something and I just watch it, it's not good enough, right? I can still go and file a complaint, but it cannot be an anonymous complaint. I still need to see, I saw this, I repeatedly see this, and therefore I'm lodging a complaint. Yeah, you can do that. Absolutely. Say no to sexual harassment. Yeah. Any questions? Ma'am, one day I will see one guy, two girls walking the front of guy. The guy sees the back of girls. That is harassment. Or no, ma'am, that guy. Well, you can't stop a guy from looking at girls, right? That's very hard at this point in time, Asha. I think that's going to be very difficult, right? I think it's. But if the guy, goes towards the girls, makes a remark or touches them or shows any expression that looks vulgar or ugly, or every day comes to see those girls and watches them from behind, it is harassment. Okay. It absolutely is harassment. One day, if he, like he was there at the back and he was watching the girls walk in front, well, difficult to say, but if he repeatedly does that even one more time, I think you should be able to call it out. Any more questions? It applies for colleges too, Kalpana. That's what I said. It is a workplace. For your professors, lecturers, staff members, and others who work in the college in any capacity. It could even be a person who's running a canteen. He's not part of the college. Let's assume, right? Or somebody who is like a gardener in the college. They are still going to follow the policy. There is no doubts about it. Okay. It is a workplace. Yeah. Vaishnavi, great question. Awareness is probably the only thing that helps in preventing, right? In fact, the more the awareness, more number of people feel confident that I can go report this, right? If there is no awareness, people think I cannot speak about it, or feel ashamed that I cannot do this. In fact, the more people complain when they genuinely feel harassed, the greater the courage for other people to show up and say, okay, I can also complain because I'm also going through something like this, So awareness is the first step towards prevention, right? Awareness for possible complainants, awareness for possible respondents also that, they cannot act like film heroes all the time. It's not acceptable, maybe it's okay in the films. In real life, it is absolutely unacceptable. Yeah. Any other questions? Anything? But fantastic interaction. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think extremely well thought through questions, very astute questions. I really, really liked that. But also remember, your first line of defense is just talking to some of us. If you're feeling stressed, you don't feel confident to go and complain, etc., do come and talk to us. We'll be happy to guide you in doing the right things, right by you, in making sure your human dignity is protected at all points in time and you don't feel unsafe, stressed, or any of those things. Because I think, as it is, I think we all go through difficulties in life. You don't want one more area where some, human is harassing. Yeah. Okay. I'm done, Varsha.
Hey, thank you so much, Jessie. I think it was a wonderful session. I hope all participants actually got aware of what is their right, what they can do, where they can say no, and where there is a doubt, who to reach out to, right?
Yeah.
I think that was the objective of this session. So thank you very much, Jessie. Dipti, over to you.
I think there's a brilliant question there saying how can gender equality help in reducing sexual harassment? I think it's a very deep question, Vaishnavi. All I can say is the more we go towards an equal world, right? The better it is for generations to come, right? And people will know that you have equal rights. And so, if I feel my right is being offended, I can take action instead of saying I have to be quiet. So, in some ways, the fight for equal rights will continue. I know it's not yet there, but laws like the Prevention of Sexual Harassment are the step in the right direction, and that's why I'm saying use it, understand it, right? Create awareness for yourself and others, and go towards solving the problem. Yeah. No woman, no girl should feel unsafe. We'd love to get there, right? Yeah, Deepthi, over to you.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Jesse. This was amazing session, and I saw so many reactions and questions. And Vaishnavi, yes, you had a lot of questions. And just to let you all know that, as Jesse said, we are here at HopeWorks. If you are facing any issues, please take the courage to come and meet Lakshmi
Absolutely.
or any one of us. Talk to us, and we can guide you throughout. And thank you so much, Jesse. And we will look forward for many more sessions to come. Tomorrow, again, I would request you all to log in for the new session that we have planned, Varsha.
Yes, absolutely. It's on design thinking.
Talk about tomorrow's session.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
absolutely. So
Tomorrow's
tomorrow
session.
between 10 to 12 is about design thinking. And as you are kind of progressing on your problem statements, building your solution approach, design thinking really gives you a bit way to kind of look at from different perspectives. How do you iterate? How do you look at different possibilities? And we can hear from a very well accomplished practitioner in this space tomorrow. So personally, I'm looking forward to that session
Yeah,
and I really
yeah.
urge all of you to join. Yeah.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay,
Bye-bye. Have a
Thank you,
wonderful
stay
everybody.
evening.
tuned, and
Yeah.
yeah, bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Infosys la modalla harassment case வந்தப்போ